squeezed. You're going to be called. You're going to get a name, and with that name, you have to have a purpose, and what you're going to do for the people when they arrive. That's why they went to the longhouse the next day. And so Sinclair, being Sinclair the way he was, he wanted to be the first one because he didn't want to be Sinclair. He wanted an honorable name like maybe Milkanoops or Kilauna. Any name but Sinclair. So that's why when they had that name and the naming. And then when all the names were given away, he was given a purpose of why he was chosen to be the last, and why he was chosen to be Sinclair. With Sinclair's name, he was given a job to make sure all the Timich followed through with their promise to Quillan Chutin, the Creator, made sure that they made a promise that they had to keep it. So that was his job, to make sure they followed through with their promise. So that's why he died and died and died and died over and over again. And his brother Huayl would always step over him after he gathered him, and he'd come back to life. And each time he came back to life, he'd always say, oh, I must have overslept here. And his brother would always tell him, what's malcha? Why, Johnson, not glax, toy. Come on, Lal. Told you not to come over here, you might die. And you came here, and you died. Look. They can snapskate. I was just tired. I was just taking a little nap, a little rest. He says, you're a liar. Don't lie to me no more, because I know what you did, and I know. And he'd tell him how he knew it, and he couldn't lie no more. And he says, now you go. Put a law on this one that killed you, and make sure that he never becomes an ashna sqilhtin again, that he'll be useful for the people to be when they arrive. That's why today all the animals that were put on the earth, like the stlachinum, like the deer, were put on the land to clothe us, because when we arrived in the beginning of time, we were nude. We were just a bunch of nudists that had no clothing. So the Timich, like the deer, all the deer family gave us their skin for our clothing, our buckskin leggings and women's buckskin dresses. And that's why we're no longer just, naked. And they were going to give us clothing and footwear. And some of the bigger animals were going to give themselves to us as robes, so we won't be cold, and making coats. And that was one thing that we were given. He was and we got something that'll keep us warm. And so that was the thing that we were given from the animals, and they gave themselves to us as a food. In return, they only asked for one thing, that we take the spleen from the body and hang it up toward the east and say these words. When you do that, you hang it up and you say these words. You say, "Why klopstimmen as stimsum stachela chwede it's hun chut that it's hilstum. He was like in go al ilucht, it's stilstum because when ustem, as if yes, to when church gets has stim, as stim to was clock stims, clock stimmen us up now, white hillstem and you'll dig still home, that you can say, Beckham, not quick still home. So that's why they say that when we did that, we talked to this part that comes off the animal. We hang it up and say this because I'm keeping the promise of my ancestors that at the beginning of time they were instructed that we should always hang this part of yours up. So if we ever want you as a food, we won't be struggling to get you as a food, especially when we're really hungry, that you will be there for us. And that's all they did. And then the salmon said the same thing. The salmon said, well, there's only one thing that I want back from your people, your human people, is I want my breath of life back. So whenever you open me up, after you capture me, or you catch me, open me up and take my lung, throw it back into the water. So that way I will always be able to come back and my bones, the remains of the salmon gets thrown back in. Because the water is like their home, it's like their own cemetery. They start floating downriver and they come apart, and then sometimes the only ones that are allowed to throw them on the land is the eagle. When they eat them, the hawks, the eagles, they're the only ones that throw the bones down the bottom of the tree, so that way it helps the tree grow stronger and better. But the remains help the tree grow better. And all the beavers, the mink and all of that, he just it's like the insulation for or Kamalakwaka or mitts or speaks or hands. And so then what did we do in return after the Suyapik arrived on the land? As we sold them out, we started killing the beaver and selling them. Right now today we're paying for our mistake. That's why we're having a hard time in our life, is because our ancestors started selling. They're like the animals are like our parents. They clothed us, they took care of us, they fed us. And right now we're eating food from McDonald's and all these fast foods, and we're no longer honoring our tamich, our animals. And that's one reason why we're struggling today. That's what the old people say. That was the biggest mistake they made. Our forefathers, when they first arrived, the European started selling all the hides. Did you think about a rifle back then, a long rifle, like the muzzle loaders? They'd pile beaver right to the top, right to the very top of the rifle. And then the ammunition, they had a scale that weighed the weight of how much beaver hides. You have to level it out with the weight of to get your gunpowder, ammunition, all that was also weighed. It didn't come cheap. Because our people were such great trappers, it didn't take them long to get their rifles. But after our people, then they started getting things easier. But that's one reason. That's one thing I was told about the tamich was we were not very good to them. At the end, that was one thing. That's why we're having a struggle with it. But the chaptik is one of the things about the chaptik is it's our stories, or like our nighttime stories in the wintertime. that teaches us how to live, how to respect. Because every animal has an aggression. Some of them were nice, some of them were mean. And then so that's how the Sumich was. So when we gained power from the Tumich was where we got our language and where we got our Sumich, our medicine power, our songs. And we doctor people as medicine people. We got our power from the Tumich, from the animals. So when you're out fasting, they come to you and they give you the knowledge that you need to doctor, to take care of your people. And today we don't have medicine people anymore is because we don't know how to take care of ourselves anymore, because we forgot about our medicines, our bath medicines. Like a lot of our medicines out there in the forest, if you we don't use it as much anymore. Just a few of us still do. And I know about these medicines. Some of them they say that you use before you go on your fast. Like there's one they call the chachala hoops. It's I'm not sure what it's called in English, but it's got the red flowers. It's like a laxative. You drink it. You drink that, and you say this not only you clean the outside, like sweating and jumping in the water early in the morning and sweating and bathing in medicine. And that way the animals don't get scared of you, because you smell really good and they're not afraid of you. And that's why they say that's why they came to you, and if you're chosen by them, they will give you power. But if you're not chosen to be a medicine person, then you can fast all you want, and they'll just go by you. And it's all in how you are and how you carry yourself that makes you a medicine person. And so today, a lot of songs that you hear out there in the medicine, the winter dances, some of them songs are ancient, and those songs are like a papayot. And the papayot is the gray spirit songs, because they were hand-me-downs generationally. Those aren't earned by the person singing it. They were taken over somebody else's song in the family, and that song was gotten stronger over the years. So when you think about how our people took care of themselves and they earned their own medicine, it means they had to jump in the water day after day after day. And back then there was no shower like we have now. You turn the water on and you get the shower and you have soap and everything. Our people had their own medicine baths that freshened them up, made them smell good. It was natural from the land. It's like spilling tea on your body, because that way all the medicines that you're using and the bath medicines freshens you up, so that way the animals don't run away from you, that they come to you, if they're going to choose you to be one of the helpers of your people, to doctor them. That's what I know about the Tumich. My Leo was Aquil. He was a medicine man. And people says, well, your dad was a medicine man. What about you? Are you one? I said, no, I didn't earn it. I said, I'm just another person. Remember a long time ago he wanted me to sing his songs. I said, no, it's yours. I hurt his feelings. Told him, no, I don't want your songs. Those are yours. He got mad at me. I didn't accept it. My mother used to tell me those kind of songs are not very great. She said, they're good, but yet they're bad. So the thing about, to learn about power, to learn about the Timuch. You know, a long time ago, our people, they prepared their kids all the time, hoping they could be one of the chosen ones that could help their people become these powerful medicine men. They'd send them out on fasts, tell them to go to the mountain. They'd show them. Sometimes you take your child up the high country. You say, this is where I want you to come back when I send you up here. Sometimes they'd make a circle of rocks. They usually send you on a mound like that, so when they make a fire during the night, they could see you up in the high country where the fire's burning. It's like a flashlight. That fire lets them know that you're still there. If there's no fire in midnight, then they know that you came down. There was one mountain that our ancestors used to go to, one they call Skurakan. There was a mountain called Skurakan, where old people used to send the young people up there, and they'd make fire on the top. It's a really pointy mountain. It's like the mountain was real pointy. It's like that. And right on top, they're making a fire. They see us. That's where the old people used to be. They say that when you go up there and you make a fire at that special place, and if you're chosen to be one of the medicine people, when you make a fire up there, 4 days in a row, on the fourth day, if you're accepted, it will tell you how long you live by how far the surrounding mountains lit up. And if you could see the bottom land where the river is, it means you're going to live to be a very old person before you pass away. But if the mountain's only halfway, it's all the way around, you only got a half a life, or a quarter of a life, or 3/4 of a life. If you had that's Guraqinam. That's Guraqinam, that's what it's called, Guraqinam. To make fire on the top of a peak. And so that's what they did long time ago when they sent the young people up there to gain power. And my dad didn't have it in me to send me up there. He says, I don't want to do that to you. He says, long time ago when I was a boy, my dad was aggressive with me. I kind of didn't care. He sent them out there. They'd go hunting up in the high country. And he'd tell his son, go this way. I'll catch up to you later. So I'm going to come. I want you to go this way. Stay there for a little while, and then you come working your way this way, because I'll be over here in case you scare deer my way. And then I can shoot them. instead of doing that, he'd come back down the hill to go home. And his son is up on a high country by himself. After a while, my Leo didn't get scared of the land. And finally, his grandpa told his dad, "Why don't you leave him alone? He's no longer scared of the land. He loves it out there. Can't you see him? Why curled it to me? He turned into an animal already. You can't scare him. You can't see that he got what he has already. He's got what he has. He's got his power." His grandpa looked at him and says, "He's already got his sumich. You can't send him up anymore. Leave him alone." So that's how he got his. But I never really knew what he had for power, but I don't have gifted eyes to see, and you don't ask people. And a long time ago, they didn't advertise themselves as medicine people. People just knew who they were, who had power. They'd send people there to go see him. Sometimes we'd be sitting around a breakfast table. He says, why go skiditach? You'd go, "Oh, we're going to be getting a visitor today. You gotta get ready," he'd tell my mom. So my mom would start cooking. Sure enough, people from Kamapil, somewhere up the north, had come and visit. Then he'd start doctoring. When I was young, I used to have to help him. When he was done doctoring, he'd give me the basin of water. He says, "Spill it in the west. Whatever evil was in that water." He says, "Don't get any water on your hands. Just hold it like this, and you take it and you dump it. Go dump it." I never used to like doing that because I didn't know what. I used to get scared. I used to feel afraid to do that work with him. Anyway, Seppi, there's a story about the Sinihuam. Long time ago, there was Sincalip I think he had 4 sons. And one of the sons, I think he was the oldest one, he says, to his Neo Sincalip. And his Goy was Pulalau. Says, "In Hminka, I want to have a winter dance." And told his dad, and his dad looked at him and says, "Why am I supposed? Why am I supposed? Do that. He's cool. Stimis chalach. Ab chalach and seal. Ab quilsnum. He's cool. He's in their commitments. He made his dance hall. Yeah, well, he's their comes. Yeah, well, their comes. West, to me, still so to go Pualkin, Penichi, Pualkin, Il Michum, Pualkin. Said, you had to convince me sweat. Sweat lam limsim. He step, Snichumicha. Welkin was the big buck, asked the rest of the animal people, which one of you allowed him to sing? All of them said, none of us. So we sent Quaski down. Just Quaski, go down and see who's that making that noise, singing. He's dancing, like he's dancing in the skies. He was flying down like that, all the way down. And he got down and he landed on the longhouse and kicks him. Hey, that's the come. It's Chase, Calip, one of Coyote's sons, dancing. He stuck his beak down and then he he used his beak and he hit him on the head. He shook and he died. His went back up to the high country, reported to Welkin. Just Welkin is this and clip is this. That's couldn't miss. Why? A few days went by. The next son said, well, I think I'm going to go down. I'm going to finish my brother's work. But always this is also halal. So he took over he started singing, started sweating. About 10 days he sweat. He prepared himself, made his longhouse. Yeah, well, he started singing in Tlacoquelach, and he started sounding like a medicine man, real powerful. Oh gosh, he was just a really giving her, just to dance and just to sing. And all the people, the animal people started dancing. They were enjoying his singing. They were going round and round dancing. Again, that Welkin says to all the other animal people, Who's that sounding like that? That's Newham. Who's allowing him to, who okayed it that he could dance? Looked at all the animals, says, look to it. Everybody says, not me, I didn't, not me. Again, he flew down. Come with it. That's it's what's is really dancing. He passed away, he died. It was the end of this Newham, all the animals left. And they put him away, and in a few days, each time, like the second time his son died, each time his son died, he'd cut his hair. And pretty soon his hair got shorter. And the third one decided he was going to take over. The two brothers didn't finish their job, so he's going to finish. So they started dance. Finally, that's our third son. Who was just a giving her, sounding really like a medicine man. Pretty soon, Welkin says, "What? I couldn't miss." And again, Pasqui was sent down. Pasqui flew downhill, left like his dancing in the air, just going down, straight downhill. Come with it. Kicks him. That's him. When Naxis in clip. Bayaks. Water. That's that did. Just took out. Passed away, died. And finally, the fourth one, I gotta finish my brother's. They didn't finish their fourth day, then they died. The fourth one went down. It was going to happen as he got cut. By then his shoulder length, his hair. Yeah, it was. Ik weet nog, ik ben Tim nog de pastor heen nog gelal. The fourth one, he dies. Finally, all the sons are dead. Ik heb heel deze poos, zo. Dat is de poos. En de stils wat kunnen gaan, nog stils wat ook in zondag of wat ik kan niet kwam. He wist niet kwam. Got himself, he sweat, and he got himself ready. Then he put up the longhouse and put up his tree. His started dancing. That's one his speel. That's this side to me. I hope it's called Wallachton. So I think that's in Conemat. Well, hasn't Pascal. Pascal is took that you will was out for that thing. This belapsed child, that's the yacht. Come with it. Fix him. He was, I think, Singlip, Bach Singlip. He wasn't wakens nog Bach. He goes so mixed. He's so mixed, he's quite stinks. If you don't know Singlip's power, that was his droppings, his number twos. They're all dancing. He's a manic, they were all dancing. And then they were saying, he told them, "What a mystery! What him go get it? As he go purchase whoever's killing my kids, I want you to pay attention. You'll be my eyes." There's I'm with it and takes him. So try and takes him and takes him. Turned him quite sweet, turned him with the kind of students, the helper told him, "That's Wesley looking down at you. He's getting ready to hit you in the head with his beak." So Sinclair had a kicks and he had a cane. That's when he said, "Wax, low and just," and then he's poked up into the sky and he got basically right in the chest, basically yacht. Man, it's stuck. It's just stuck. Basically was laying there for a long time, all knocked out outside the lodge. He flew back up in high country, it says. And he got up there and he told the Boalachkin, Tundum the Boalachkin, "What the heck? So I didn't come to the Hikwas and Caleb. I poorest, Lord, which question so much. and that's when he sent down Stoonach. Stoonach was the beaver. Sent him down. He went down. Stoonach traveled up the stream on the water, right up to where the is, by where the lodge is, where the dance lodge is. And he went there to do away with Sincalip. So he went in there and I think he covered himself with that pacht. He tore it apart and his whole body was covered, looked like snow. He slid into the area where near the lodge. And he was it's going to kill him. Lugan Dimit, the Kingston Dimmers. Kingston's down, Kingston's up, broke off. And that hurt him so much that it knocked him out and he fell in the water. He was laying on the shore of the water all knocked out. He come to, he went back up. And that's when he got back up to the top. That's when he and they asked, who is that? Who gave him the right to sing? And that's when Skuktrilt, Malcha, Skuktrilt told a lie. Said, I gave him the right. Well, why didn't you say so in the beginning? We could have all went down there and danced with him. And that story, I kind of forgot parts of that story, but I have it somewhere in my collection. I'll have to find a way to share it with you all. But how that story went is when I think after Skuktrilt was killed also, somehow he got killed, I think like Pulsar. And then the buck came down to investigate. He peeked in and then he'd run back up to the top and then he was told, so once he gets right around, makes a complete circle around, and he'll never be able to run up. That way, if that happens, then animals will never be able to go back out once they come in. I think in that story. And if he was mentioned, Hoi Pwalachkin or Mew was he'd run back up. And they were saying if he made a great complete circle, that all the animals, when they go in, they would never leave. They would have joined us in this Nihuam. And because he didn't, I don't know what happened. And then anyway, I think that's when Skuktil died, and that he got trampled because to me just when Wallachin got spooked somehow, and the whole animals ran all directions and broke the Sushkanil, and then they trampled Skuktil. I'll have to remember that story. I thought I had it here, but I don't have it today. I'll have to look for it. I'll have somebody read it for you. But they say that's why today we use deer rattles in theirs, because of them, to honor that story, that chaptik. And the one that lied and said that she gave the permission to allow the ones that do the sneeuwhemp, given permission from Skoktilt, which is the fawn, the one with all the spots. And I'll have to find that story and get someone to read it to you. That was done by Joe Abel, I think. He was from Vernon. That story was told about the Sneeuwhemp, the medicine dance. And I kind of forgot parts of that. I'm just kind of telling some parts that I remember. But we have a lot of other stories, like long time ago, the village was the Timuk were living really great, you know. All the Timuk, they were having fun. They were just enjoying their life. And all of a sudden, they seen smoke coming from the south, far away. They were living on the flat land. There's just a nice place where they lived. There's water and everything there. Creek. They seen the seen the smoke. Pretty soon they got closer and closer, and they realized there was a fire. And Snina Neil Michum told Snina, call the people together. Maybe one of them have a song that's powerful enough to stop that fire before it reaches us. They realized the fire was coming pretty fast. So the Snina, come on, they made because he's the announcer. They're all gathered in a longhouse. Then the Michum says, one of you must have a song that'll stop fire from burning us up. Oh, they all took turns one at a time. They were singing their song. Not one song could stop that fire. And it got closer and closer to the lodge, or to the village. And so they took turns singing. Every once in a while, one would fly in and say, that was Kulkulakan. They finally got mad at Kulkulakan. You wait your turn. They'd be taking turns, and finally all the Timuk, the bear, all the different animals sang their song. Finally, all the animals, they were all done. The animals all done their singing, and not one of them come close to stopping the fire. Finally, Kulkulakan landed and says, I can stop the fire. Oh, they got mad at him. All of you didn't even stop the fire. Kulakan started flying around the village like that in a circle. Kept flying and flying and flying. Pretty soon they got closer to the fire, and she was getting low to the fire. Kept flying and singing this powerful song. Finally, the fire came down and went around the village like that, and then kept going. And the village didn't get burned, but Quilquilacum's arms did. Underneath was all red on both sides. The Quilquil. And on his belly it looked like my shirt here, gray and a bunch of spots, black spots. He's let strode out, all them sparks that just got in and then burnt out. Left black marks on his chest. But under his arms was all red, quill under his tail. And then that's what happened to him. And so they say that, when after the fire went by, he was finished his song and landed and said to the people, it's like in Nichostrigaki to Hula, when Hashchos, Kokolams to be stamped up some hills. Let's switch them. It's so whap. That's why they say they use the flicker's tail feathers to stop the fire. So if you look at the flicker, it's red, and then on the top is black. He's clean. That's where it went out. The fire went out. I thought I had a flicker here, a feather. I was going to show you one. Usually carry them. But one thing about that is I always carry them. Beauty, that power of that flicker has so much power. That's the one that can stop the fire, the forest fires. But if he knocks Sin Calip, if he's who is it at Tumhula, what's Pakchil, the Wixa Hats and Lautum, he clicks Hoya, was shown them to Hoyle, let's glass Hoy. Coyote was just sitting around. All of a sudden he got tired of sitting around. He decided he wanted to go for a walk somewhere, go somewhere. Then he went to see this draw. He was going to go there, and his brother Fox told him, "Look, glass hoy, look, glass hoy, yeah, stick it, look, glass hoy, yeah, stick it, I've got stick it. This that hoy, sweet, look, that's like." When somebody goes there, they never come back. At that place of fire, that's a draw. There's fire up there that never stops. It's always burning. As soon as his brother turned away and left his sight, he took off up there through that draw. Lake Hoy, and there's a road pathway. On the side of the road, the pathway, there was a fire lit up. He said, it was cold that time. Well, he started warming his hands with quite stuff. And he put his feet up there too. And he thought to himself, what they can sweet, right up, they can come in, it was quellness and maybe I turned around and warm my back. He turned his back, the oodle and dim. He got burnt. Leapt and their puncho, he's trying to run and he caught on fire. He ran until he fell down and then he died. I don't know how many moons later, his brother thought, Where's Philip? He thought to himself, I bet you he went to that place where I told him not to go. He never listens to me. So he went to that valley of fire. He seen his brother laying there. It's the tapos. James. Only thing left was his bones. Gathered his bones and straightened them out. Stepped over him and he got up yawning. Oh, love, much can crispa sheet. Well, what much can crispa sheet? I must have overslept here. So we put some malachaway. Johnson, root crack, swole, swole, that's a door, chicken now. But that's Nicholas, that's for the playlist. Chicken. You don't listen to me, and you got on fire. So, hoya, great hoya. Yerder and dichoy, lot of the year. Nachams, yaad, hak and twichich, lot. Hak and twil. The yaad, nachams, nax lutax, hakam, here lutiax, yam steam, was come that, hak. Nax lutax, family. That's quick, one hak, men was like that, and the bachen was twit. I was hak snow and so hak. Takan jism click on soch amulets and that saas. Then all clack to come in was and hak was tapinand, was whipland. So he was instructed that you hold your payment on this hand, you put a rock under this arm like a football, and you go tease fire. And if he goes after you, comes after you, you run right to them rocks, the circled rocks. The one that's missing, you go through that. And when a fire goes inside, jump over the rock and come around and put your payment down and put a rock on it. Then you put a law on him that from this day forth he's no longer going to be a cannibal monster to devour all living things. That's why to this day you go to these camps, you'll always see rocks in a circle. But they're not made by the people, they're made by the Suyapiks. They don't know that story of that rocks in the circle. But our people, that's how they contain fire, no matter how dry the land is. If you pay them rocks, it keeps the fire contained, it don't jump, and it doesn't start a fire. The reason it starts fire nowadays is because these white people don't know how to do that prayer to keep the fire contained, and the purpose of that circle of rocks. Our people used to pay all the rocks in a circle. Even if you put tobacco underneath it, you put rock on all the circle, because that becomes a sacred fire. And the fire don't jump over, but you got to talk to the rocks and talk to the fire. So now I could select not quadla. Says you're not going to burn the land, you're going to stay here in the center of these rocks. But these rocks are paid to keep you here. If you squirrels that's your water. End of my story about the fires in Gilip. That's the reason why you see the campfires. It was actually a chapter story about Coyote. And also, Coyote was the first one to ever been whipped in our chapter. He was the first one that ever got a whipping. And a long time ago, there was a place, another valley in the Okanagan Valley. Anyway, Sinclair again tells or Sinclair was told by While, "We're glad Hoy Dalik Astatum Hulaw. Little Hoy is not seal of the Druta, it's Belag." He says, "This valley over here, don't go that way." Every time somebody goes that way, they never come back. We never see them again. I feel bad and worried about our people. I don't want them to go that way. But he was told by his brother Fox, "Don't go that way." So Fox turned away and went the other way, wherever he walked, wherever he went. As soon as he got out of sight, Sinclair would run toward that, for the place of the fire. That's what that story. That's when that story started, just when he went there. He hadn't that story about Sinclair going to this one valley. That other story I was going to talk about is that one about another road where it was told not to go. And then in that road, it was all red, that road, especially in Quilks. You see the road is like that, it's all red on the edge of it. Even though that road was kind of like this pen, it's all red. If you picture a road, it's like that on both sides of that. The pathway, it's all red on both sides. Oh, what a beautiful look it must have been. So Sinclair was going through there, and he was looking at the ground. He said, "Oh my God, it's good to walk on. My feet don't even hurt because there's no pebbles or nothing. Because the road is so nice. It's well cared for. Whoever made this road really took care of this pathway, and I can go, my feet don't even hurt." He was going along, all of a sudden he felt a stinging
You're
pain,
almost
like
done.
a bee sting.
Click below to get started.
Quack, quack. He looks behind. Hey, cow. Goes try to win us met stim. Quackers try to win him that he can come notice to him. Don't tease me like that. Whoever did that, don't do that to me. I might hurt you. He's trotting along. All of a sudden, he felt another stinging pain. Quack, quack, quack. That's a big cow. Nothing there. And he started trotting some more. Pretty soon, he got whipped. Oh, those sticks started whipping him. They whipped him, and just his hair started coming off. It just started coming off. Pretty soon he had nothing. Just take poisa. He had nothing, no hair left. He got whipped, and all he had was lines, and pretty soon skin got opened up, and he was bloody. And then he was putting out. He passed out. Putting out. Pretty soon he knocked out because he couldn't take the whipping anymore, and he knocked out. He passed out. Probably got a heart attack. He passed away. Then stuck when the worms got him. Only thing left was his bones when his brother found him probably about 4 or 5 months later. He finally thought about Sinclair, wondered, where's Sinclair? I wonder, I haven't seen him for a while. While says, I suppose he went on that road. I told him not to go. I'm going to go check.
You're almost done. Click below to get started.
Jim's only thing left was his bones. Finally, you gathered what left, the bones that was left to put a place, put it together. Then he steps over and he gets up yawning again. That was much in Qispasi. I must have overslept again here. I put some malcha. I told you not glass, squirt, hasn't ship a pizza. Oh, look. Die geleis is gestimineerd om hoe dat het lijken geloos. That's why no hasn't. Look how beautiful this land is. I'll just travel it to here, just enjoying myself. You're a liar. I told you not to come here and you got whipped to death. They moved further up. You go over there, you catch up to them, you tear them out of the ground, and you throw them where there's water. You throw them red willow sticks, all the red willow sticks, you throw them where the water is, where all the water is located. So that's what he did. So he grabbed them, pulled them out of the ground, he'd throw them all the directions. The rivers, the lakes, the creeks, the marshes, wherever there's water is near to the surface of the land, that's where they grow, where it's hamula, where it's kind of watery ground. That's where the red willow will grow. It says because the red willow is so mean, it will take always taking lives, then he'll live by the water forever. And he'll be of great use one day to the people. They use the red willow to discipline their children. But you gotta pay the red willow before you can whip your child with it. You're only allowed to hit him 3 times, and that's it. Any more than that, it's abuse. And you can bath in it when you get sores, and it takes away the itch in your body. If you can even put some on your eyes. The only thing about red willow, when you can use it as a bath medicine, you can't use the leaves. You have to take the leaves off. Wear gloves. Pull all the leaves off the sticks before you boil it. And it's got to be a red. It's got to be red like this. Don't use the green ones. It's got to be a red. Takes away the itch from the body. When your body's itching, you bath in it. You have sores on your face, you bath, you wash your face in it. It takes away all the blackheads off your face and everything. It's such a good medicine if you custom it. That's what St. Philip did. He threw that all by the water. Lot jou geksin as naas skilig naas gehalt om rims. Dit is het smelle lut. Je hebt gestoelig lut jou. Dus men tjotselig as kolons tjotselig. It was classiers nog in skilig. One day when the people arrive, they can use that for discipline their children when they're bad. After they pay you, that's what you do, is you take away their ugly attitude out of them. And then when they have body problems with itching body or sores, they can bath in the red willow that help cure them. And the story, here, put them. Any questions?
No, but sorry, I gotta run. I got grandkids to pick up.
Okay, well, I'm glad you showed up, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the ones working with language.
Right.
I'm really grateful because no matter how old you are, you're never too old to learn words, learn pilotchen. It's always important to learn. I enjoyed that.
Hey, Sulkin. I have to take off too. I appreciate your stories. I don't really want to leave, but I got some stuff I gotta go do.
Okay.
Well, anyways.
Well, anyways, up to say. Well, anyways, at Wickinson.
Well, anyways, Wickinson.
When you say that word, well, anyways, it's incomplete if you use it like that. You always gotta say, well, anyways, at Wickinson. Well, anyways, at Wickman. I'll see you all again later.
Bye.
That's how you use that word. Yeah.
Why kayo sa akin?